So, the Dallas Mavericks have started off the season 3-0, and over the stretch of these games, Luka has averaged 39 points, 11 rebounds, and 9 assists on 55% shooting from the field and 48% from deep. Yeah, you ain't even really gotta tell me. It's truly ridiculous, as he's making the game look fairly easy out there. Night in and night out, defenses have a hard time deciding what move Luka is gonna go to next, so it keeps them walking on eggshells 24/7. When you see Luka come off these screens, he's able to pull 3 defenders towards him, and once getting closer to that paint, it looks like he's gonna lay this off the glass, but he blends it right into a lob over the top for Lively. For the defense, it's really a tough decision to make, because if they don't jump, then it's just an easy lob over the top to Lively or Powell or whoever he decides to throw it to. But Luka is so crafty that if he doesn't throw the lob, when driving he can bump one defender off, feed an up fake to get the help defender on a trampoline, and then he can focus through the contact for the and one. You see what I mean? You really can't anticipate what Luka is going to do, as he reacts solely off what the defense gives him. Some of you might say, stay honest on Luka and guard him straight up, and then have the big take away the lob. Well, hold on right there. Watch what happens on this play. Luka first mixes up Finney-Smith with this combo, so on the step back, he generates tons of space, making Smith lunge out. Now, if you're paying attention and look on this backside, Cam Thomas slides over to take away this lob, and so does Mikal Bridges. So what does Luka do? He steps through and zips it all the way across court for Hardaway to sink the tough midi. So yeah, play as honest as you can, but with the amount of ways Luka can affect the game, there's always going to be an opening, and best believe Luka will exploit it. Even when defenders think they can shift back quick enough after helping out, well, Luka is just too skilled and can make quick decisions, so Tillman is just too late on the recovery and Grant Williams tees it up from behind the arc. I know most of you probably think his scoring is the finest aspect of his game, which we will dive deep into, but when you really analyze these passes, you get to see the brilliant IQ and the gravity Luka has. Now right now, I need everybody to listen up and pay very close attention, because class is in session during this play. When Luka spins out this post up, you probably think he's going up for a layup or fading jumper. Well, Jaren Jackson Jr. thinks exactly the same, so he rotates over to take this away, but since Luka's exceptional passing skills in everyone's mind, Bane assumes Tillman is going to rotate down to take the corner away, so he shifts over to cover Williams, which leaves Derrick Jones Jr. wide open, so it's an easy zip pass to the slot area for the 3-ball. You see how the defense was pre-rotating because they thought they knew where Luka was going to pass it, but come to find out, he had other plans in mind? Well, I guess that's why we call him Luka Magic, because just when you think you can't be fooled, Luka shows you that the games have just begun. That sick creation when it comes to setting up his teammates translates right into his scoring, so when you take that same exact setup we just discussed on the last play, you'll see that the defense reacts in the same way, but with Bane on his side recovering hard, all Luka has to do is stop on a dime before hitting the double team, and it's a short little fade from this drop zone. These shots are truly bread and butter for Luka, so once you feel him spinning off you, you might as well chalk it up. So far, everything we've discussed has been more on the simpler side of things for Doncic, but as we all know, Luka can break down the defense in so many ways, making it look easy, but it's far more complex than what you think. For the defense, it's pretty much pick your poison. Do you want to force Luka off the 3-point line and make him go get a bucket inside? Or do you want to play back a little and make him sink shots from the outside? Either way, it doesn't really matter, because Luka is equipped with many tools in his bag to go score in many different ways. Let's say you do decide to guard up tight and force him off the 3-point line. Well, okay, Luka has no problem using his body to initiate the contact to create some space, and then use that soft touch to bank it off the glass. At first glance, it might look as simple as a body bump directly into the jumper, but when you slow it down, you can see Luka cradle the ball so if the help reaches in, it won't get stripped, and by leaning his much bigger body into the defender, it kind of knocks them out of position enough for Doncic to get established inside. And now the defense is in a tough situation, Luka goes up, absorbs the contact, and is able to convert the bucket for the and one. This rather physical play from both Luka and defenders has been apparent in the first 3 games, but let's be honest, Luka isn't fazed by the contact whatsoever, as he can still get to his spots on the floor to go grab a bucket. It doesn't matter if the contact happens on the drive or if it's near half court on this play versus Simmons, Luka will keep his composure, size you up while getting into this combo, and what is it, y'all? A money ball. So let me ask you, is running him off the line forcing him to go score inside gonna work? Not really. I think your best bet is to make Luka beat you from the outside, but since the defense has already been shredded by his inside scoring, they're more likely to bite the bait on these fake drive attempts like Jaren Jackson Jr. does here, but once he delivers that step back, you can see all this space it generates, and it's a smooth pull up right over the contest. Some of you might say, well, he's abusing slower footed bigs, so of course it's gonna work, and blah 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 blah. Well, hold on, I got something for you. Maybe he's not the best defender, but Cam Thomas is a guard. So what do you have to say when Luka attacks hard going right on this sideline and abruptly snatches back sending Thomas flying? And then with no care in the world for the defense, Luka pulls up over 2 defenders from deep. Y'all already know what I'm about to say. Truly ridiculous. The handle can be so swift and clean that even if he gets stopped going one way trying to create a look for himself, he has no problem countering it going the other way. And then if you watch closely, you'll notice the help sliding over, so instead of driving, Luka opts into the step back to drill it home. If you've been locked in during this whole video, you'll notice that everything Luka does is purely dictated off how the defense reacts. Take this play versus Jaren Jackson Jr. for an example. Luka initially starts with the size up to get into his next move, so by hesitating before stunting left, this makes Jackson really think Luka is going to drive it, so he buys hard and look at his positioning. His left foot is up high, and if you've ever been in this situation before, you know it's very hard to turn your hips quick enough to recover on the drive. So Jackson immediately opens up to recover, which gives up all this ground in between them, and the rest is history. If there's one thing you should take away from this video and nothing else, is that you should never throw a big on Luka, or else it's pretty much a done deal as you leave your big out there on an island and get cooked. Some will try to play off more so they don't get caught up in a blender, but if you do that, then it allows for Luka to comfortably get into a pull-up from deep with ease. Other times you'll see defenders like Mikal Bridges play up tight and make Luka a little bit more uncomfortable, and although he does get a hand on it making Doncic fumble the handle, Luka says, hey, there's nothing you can do to throw me off my game, and here's where you see this uber confident deep step back 3 fall through the net. Honestly guys, have we ever seen someone move the way Luka does and affect the game like this? Like sure, there are other players that have major impact and can influence the entire course of a game, but with different players come different feels. And when watching Luka, it just feels like he owns the entire court when he steps on the hardwood. Now besides Luka, there are a couple points I want to address and also questions I want to ask you. Starting off with Kyrie Irving. I feel like Kyrie has bought into his role with his team as being that second option, even though he hasn't been playing that well. I think we just need to give him some time to really bounce back and really get the feel of how things work in Dallas, and he'll be fine. This little slump isn't really like him, so I don't expect this to be him going forward. And for point number 2, I really don't want to say too much because I want to talk to you all in the comments about this. How are we feeling about Grant Williams and Derek Lively? Drop your thoughts below. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to drop a like before heading over to watch this Shai Gilgeous-Alexander breakdown. I appreciate you all for your support, and I'll see you in the next video.